for you. I have an iPhone 10 here. It put on the holder here. This iPhone 10 was registered with my face on it, so it can recognize my face. So to begin the demo, I will unlock the iPhone with my face. It's on the holder here. So you see that when you focus on the iPhone's screen, you see that when there's no one's face before it, it requires the password to be entered. Now I will unlock the iPhone with this specially designed mask. So please zoom in on the phone screen. So you see, the iPhone was unlocked. I will do the demo once again. Well, we also posted a clip online before, but it was a little bit too quick, so some people asked us to do the demo again. Now I'll do it slowly this time. So you see, in terms of the security configuration of the Face ID is set at the highest level. It requires the owner of the iPhone to look directly onto the screen. But you see, even with that kind of configuration, we can still beat it with this mask. Now, let me do another demo for you while I'm unlocking this phone with my face in different angles. So what is my demo telling you? When Apple is presenting the Face ID technology, they're saying that the Face ID of the iPhone 10 does not accept 2D pictures. But with that mask, you saw that it actually accepts the 2D picture because the 2D picture was glued onto the mask, a 3D mask. It's just a 2D picture that was cropped and then glued on it. And also when Apple's promoting the iPhone 10's Face ID, they talked about how they worked with the Hollywood mask makers to teach the artificial intelligence of the iPhone's Face ID to learn the difference between a fake mask and a real face. But you see that in this case, we were able to trick the iPhone's Face ID with just a mask and some 2D pictures like this. So you see that I was able to unlock the iPhone with my face, either my face or the mask. And you see it's definitely different. That's not, the mask doesn't look like me at all. But it was still able to unlock the a 3D printed face mask that looks a lot like me because they use my face as to model this mask upon. So Mr. Kung will try to teach this face mask to the iPhone 10 for recognition. Now let's see if the iPhone 10 can learn this face mask will it be able to recognize this face mask. Now you see that the AI of the iPhone has recognized that this is not a real face. It's a face mask, and that's why it does not recognize it. And this is something that Apple has taught the iPhone 10. Now let me teach it with my face. I'll take off my glasses so it looks better. Yeah, it recognized my face right away. Very good. Let's do it one more time. Let me try to unlock it. Right, recognize me, and it opens up. It unlocks right away. So, Mr. Kung, can you help me? You take the 2D picture, the crop eye from the 2D pictures. Do you think that it would be able to recognize me? Let me try it. Oh, it still recognized me. So one more. So you see, that's my two eyes. It's a very simple demo. It's exactly what we did. We have repeated this process over and over and over again, like Mr. Kwang has said, over the course of 1 week. You see that this is not my eye, but Face ID was able to recognize it. And this iPhone is actually configured at a very high level of requirement or security requirement. It requires the person to look directly onto the iPhone, and yet the mask was still able to beat it. Requirement or security requirement. It requires. Well, now I'll give you more details on how we were able to complete this POC, this proof of concept. Now, before going into the steps, let me explain to you what is proof of concept. Now, in cybersecurity, proof of concept is basically a proof of whether or not we can do something. So it's proof of principle. And after that, based on this POC, people will develop different scenarios. For example, in the iris scanner technology, together with a colleague in Germany, we use infrared camera during our tests. So we take a picture of the eyes of the person who's conducting the test with us. So we take a picture, we take an IR picture of the eyes of the person, but in the actual scenario, that was, a laboratory, a test scenario, but in a real life scenario, the attacker or the hacker would have to take pictures of the person some other ways. Now, for us, when we develop the POC, we take a 3D picture of the face of the person. And this could be done very easily, just with a smartphone.
Đây là một cái điện thoại có tính năng là chụp ảnh 3D.
And you see that this is a 3D picture that was captured by this phone actually, this very phone. And 3D picturing is something that been developed pretty widespread all over the world. Even in Vietnam, there are places where they take 3D pictures of your face, and once they take the picture, they can easily 3D print a face mask that's similar to your face. And once we 3D printed the frame, we use the 2D picture. This is the picture that we have used in this POC, in this test. And we also asked a craftsman to make a silicone nose for us. And we also adjust the face mask so that it can beat the iPhone's Face ID, following the rationale that Mr. Guang has explained to you before. Since this is a POC, it took us about 8 to 9 hours to configure, to adjust the mask so that it can ultimately unlock the iPhone. Now the process could be shortened once we were able to master our techniques. It's just like when we try to beat the iris scanner. It took us 2 months to beat the Samsung's iris scanner, and at the beginning it took us days in order to adjust the printout in order to beat the iris scanner. But once we were able to master the techniques or the art of beating the iris scanner, it would only take us 15 minutes to create the right picture. So when we develop the POC, we follow the principle that there should be no passcode. So once we add anything to the mask in order to beat the AI of Face ID, if the test was not successful, we will not put the passcode in. We will use the face of the person to unlock the iPhone again instead of inputting the passcode. So that will make sure that the phone will not learn more about the face mask features. In different angles, but if I use a mask, the face mask, then it's not going to be able to be unlocked in the different angle. Now if I put it back to the right angle that I showed you, what's important is the angle. I have to fix it on this holder here.
Đấy, các bạn có thể thấy là chỉ đúng vị trí này.
So see that it can only be unlocked at this angle, this very angle. So that's